what is behind the name we've been given and the identity that we in our society accept as it is, that represent us.
Yeah, what's behind it? I mean, of course, what is behind it is that those who give us our names, they have a certain connection with that name. In my concept of who I am,
Yes, who are you,
right
brother?
there.
Mm-hmm.
I am. So
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. I am that I am.
So, are we feeling good?
Oh, feeling good. Feeling
Nice.
good. Yes, it has been always looking for it to step in this space station. I don't know how we can call it in Nzaa's Virtues studio. Yes, feeling good. How about you, brother?
Feeling very relaxed.
Feeling relaxed. Yeah, wonderful. And Ron.
Yeah, I feel really great.
Yes.
Excited.
All right. Welcome in Nzaa's Virtue. This is our second podcast. And we look forward really to see how it will adventure. Just to recap again, in this platform here in Nzaa's Virtue, it's an open space for conversations, for humanity, scientific, social, spiritual, cosmology. We'll have more so a side of that. But the very important things here for us, it is just having conversation with our fellow human beings and to exchange. So for those who just maybe join and just discover us, don't hesitate to follow us and adventure with us. And then, of course, if you like the content, that is always good. Yes, so we are live here in Berlin. What's the weather today? What was it?
It was very windy today.
Windy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit sun I saw as well earlier in the morning, like around 10.
Maybe.
Yes. Well, here in Berlin, we in the last weeks we had like little sunny heat in Berlin, but we were concerned that the summer is gone. Well, Brother Dodo, you know that better.
I know that. I mean, from my feeling, I know that today I've been thinking today was the last day of summer.
Oh, the last day of summer.
Today.
So you mean we're not gonna have any sunshine no more?
No, there is going to be sunshine, but it's going to be cooler, I feel.
Cool.
I had this feeling that the wind brought more coolness.
So,
yes.
So, yeah. And I noticed that all the people, as I was traveling here, seemed to have this kind of change of nervousness in a way.
Ooh, what that mean? Welcome in Germany or in Berlin or what? Nervousness, what do you mean? It's already like
I don't know if it's
it's
connected
with
the weather only or necessarily at all, but I connect a lot of things in my life with the weather, actually. A lot of things. It's been a constant companion in my psyche since about 25 years.
Oh, wow. Isn't it bother you? Maybe because me, the weather, it's always something... I let it most of the time be, because most of the time it always like, oh yeah, tomorrow the sun's gonna be there. But of course, maybe the sun is there, maybe it's rain, and then I embrace the rain. But what do you mean for you? It's
well, for me, it's like there is a word for it actually. Like I don't meteoropathic.
Ooh, meteoropathic. So meteo.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very sensitive to the changes of pressure in the air.
So
in the climate.
How do you feel it?
I feel
Can you describe the feeling?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people have it, but most people have it very subtly. But for me, it's very strong that my circulation basically is affected by it. So
Okay.
my awareness is affected by it. So I cannot get up maybe, or I get up like a flash,
Mhm.
Okay.
When it's high pressure, I go kind of I'm like a yo-yo, I go with the nice and high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, low
Low
pressure.
pressure.
Wow.
The changes are particular for me.
Does it ever annoy you?
Absolutely.
Oof.
It affects me. So it affects my ability to actually act, But I have also learned with the annoyment to deal with
Okay.
accepting and, and
Okay.
living with it. But
Good.
I've been observing myself in relation to the weather for about 25 years now. And basically, it started with this typical symptoms where you have a scar somewhere and it starts itching, and that's when rain is coming or the pressure is going down. A lot of people experience this. Migraines, some people have this.
Migraines,
I've had
yeah.
this. Itchy scalp. People have had that. I've gone through, I think, all the different symptoms that
Wow.
people associate with over the years, and it kind of been like consequential. So it's been like one thing after another. Like one year, the next year was a different thing, and the next year again a
Okay.
different thing. Then we came back to that thing. Oh, I haven't that, and so on. But also occasion to the point of fainting. Actually.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, so you can kind of pass out if it's very strong. I can, I have had this.
When what is strong?
Well, for me, the
Oh, okay.
sensibility towards the change, and
Okay.
it actually is also predictable for me how strong or sudden the change will be. Yeah, so I'm quite aware, and actually a couple of days now, yesterday and this morning, I've had great difficulty waking up and getting my bones out of bed and stuff.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, good to know. All right, so we are here in Nzaa's Virtue. As promised, we're gonna be bringing some special guests. So today's special guest is a good friend, a brother, and how could I even say it? Of course, he's an artist, but there's some philosophic, approach from his perspective, from my conversation with him. This is what I feel. But anyway, I'm not gonna say much. You're gonna discover it just with our conversation, with tranquility of that. So welcome, Brother Dodo.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome here. And you say you're feeling great, and
yes, very relaxed.
Yeah. So Dodo, what is Dodo? Is just your it's you were born also with Dodo as a name?
No, I was not born with any name, I think, but I think it was given to me at one point soon after, or maybe they decided it before. I can't remember.
Yes.
And the name that they had kind of decided was I do remember now. Actually, the name that was decided for me, I don't remember the name, unfortunately, but it was a girl's name because my mother was convinced that she was going to have a girl.
Ooh,
so that was a bit of a disappointment.
Say, well, it's a boy now. Okay, how are we gonna name it? Okay, he must wait a bit until we figure it out.
Yeah, a shame. I forget the name now. It just fell out of my brain.
But do you know that Dodo also can be a female name?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But the fact of my name being Dodo comes from my dad wanting to call me Dominic.
So Dominic.
And that is because, and actually Dodo, because his best friend had that name.
That's very good.
So it was a bit in honor to his best friend, and so he wanted me to be Dominic.
Yeah, Dominic.
And my full name, or one of my names, because I have a few different names.
Yes, can you just tell us the whole full name? Like
Jean-Dominique is my full name. After it got changed from before it got changed from Mulopwe.
Mulopwe. You know what that means, Mulopwe?
Yes, I do. Yes.
What is? Yeah. You will tell us about Mulopwe later. I'll look for it. Yes, and Mulopwe.
Yeah. So Jean-Dominique was my first name that I was kind of they put in my birth certificate, and then they called me Dodo from pretty much early on. And the story goes, because I did so many things, so many naughty things, that it was a bit difficult to keep calling, Jean-Dominique, don't do this. Jean-Dominique, stop that. Jean-Dominique, come here. Dodo.
Dodo. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, they call it more
That was
Dodo.
one of the stories. But then, as you may know as well, there was a turn in the government, and Congo became independent in the 70s.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
just to recap, of course, which means Dodo, you also, we could say, from Congo, although you were born here, because your father is from the Congo. He's
That's
a Congolese.
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, and so when Mobutu, who was the president at the
Yes.
time in Congo, became the president, he decided that all
Yes.
Congolese people had to give up their colonial French names and assume a Congolese name.
It was called Retour à l'authenticité,
Wow.
which means, of course, in that time after Belgium, when you give a birth to a child, so you have like a family name, and you have also like, European name, like, Alphonse, Dominique, Ilunga, or Kalala, or, Batila, or, all that. But you have always like, a first name, or, me, it was Trésor. Although Trésor is not like a name. Yes, of course, I mean, my parents, for them, because after how they had 3 girls, they were looking for a boy. Yeah, of course. Having their boy, I was their Trésor.
Yeah, if they would have met with my parents, maybe they could have changed or something.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Totally
of course,
them.
because they have already 3. Yes, of course. My mother and my father, they had like 3 girls, a boy in the middle, 2 boys, and 1 girl. So, of course, yeah, for them, it was my Trésor. Yeah, it's authenticité. So, Retour à l'authenticité, that was the time that your father also changed the name, which he became.
Sorry?
Which Retour à l'authenticité. That was what you were saying, that
That's
at that
correct.
time, Mobutu,
Yes.
at that time, it was not DRC Congo, it was Zaïre. Yeah.
Yeah, and so my dad had to find names for me and my brother, and so he decided to call me Mulopwe. Nkishi wa Mulopwe is my Congolese
Kishi
name.
wa Mulopwe. Wewe ujumuluba wetu wa mena. Well, Mulopwe, but you know the meaning of Mulopwe. What the Mulopwe means?
Well, it's a kind of god, no? It's a kind of
Mulopwe, yes, of
kind
course.
of deity.
Yes, he's a chief.
Yes.
He's of course, a
lord.
king, a lord. Yes, Mulopwe. How about Nkishi?
How about that?
Yes. Nkishi.
Where it comes from? the
Yes.
name? Well, the story goes, the story that my dad
Yeah.
told me or told us is that when he was a child and he went to school, everybody kind of thought of him a little bit of being a witch, because he behaved in a certain way that they made fun of him or they were scared of him. And so they kept calling him Nkisi.
Kisi, which means like Grigri or yes, they call okay, yeah. Kisi, okay.
Yes. So, and then he kind of adopted this name for himself.
Yeah.
And put an N in front of it.
Nkishi.
Yeah, and made it like this, basically.
Yes.
And that's how he assumed this name. And of course, once he came to Europe, that was his last name. And at the time when I was born, as a child, you automatically was given the name of your dad.
True. Yeah, this is how Bantu, they do it. So you get the name from your father.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I got
So
the
then
name Kishi.
you were born with the name.
Yes.
You were born with the name.
With the last name, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to also mention that because Brother Dodo, his father coming from the Congo, from the Kasai, which is in Central Africa. Yes, it's also where I am also coming from, where my parents have come from. So from the Kasai area, so the Luba. So every time, I heard you on Kishi, that's why I like to call you Nkishi, because in Kishi, it's also Mukishi. And Mukishi, when a Luba say Mukishi wetu or Mukishi, it's a powerful, it's an energy. It's a people can be doing something and Mukishi wetu. So it's the energy, it's a very high energy. But very, very cool for that intro, my brother. All right. So, brother, here in Nzaa's Virtue, because it's also about connecting for all human beings and connecting here. We just here, tranquil. But there is a heartbeat somewhere around the world. So we're introducing a new, a little format here for us. Do you have anyone around the world right now, which you remember maybe the name, you remember the phone number? You can give that human being a call right now.
Okay, I have to say that nowadays we don't remember phone numbers anymore, no?
That's also the challenge, also in a different, but you can double check that.
But for that we have phone.
Yes. Oh, you have someone. Ooh, which
Do you have someone in mind?
Well, since you guys asked me just about a moment ago,
Ooh.
I thought,
do
who
it.
am I gonna call? I mean, I could call my girlfriend, of course.
Yeah.
She might be busy.
Hello.
And I thought it's not too late. How about that? I'm gonna call this person.
In which world? In which part of the world it is?
In Germany.
In Germany. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Shall I call this person?
Yes, you have 1 minute to pick up and then call with this. You can. Does it gonna even arrive a bit close to him?
This is so nice. Like the last time I dialed these numbers.
Yeah.
With a phone like this. Wow, this is working.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
It felt so nice when I first tried it.
Here's a trick. First, you need to make sure. Yeah. Tack. Oh yes. So the tone is always on, and then you need to be a little bit because you use this one, right?
Always on. Now it's beep beep, and before it was.
Yes. Now tack. It's on.
You tell me if this is on.
Ooh.
It was before you pressed the button.
This is on. Yeah, it is on.
Okay, now I
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, you can stay there.
Yeah. Yeah, it cuts. So the trick of this, yes, that's
quick.
Aha!
Yeah.
In the 1970s, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember this just
so
now.
you need to be really quick. So which means you have to return again here, and then be tack. You can start now. Do you guys remember this? Ron, have you used this phone before?
Oh, yes.
You can have it.
Say, you can talk.
No, you have to talk to the human being. Yes, just
Hello?
tranquil. No. Does it even ring?
Yes, it does.
Ooh. Who's that?
But can we hear?
No, we don't. It's okay. It's just a little short conversation for you.
This is so strange.
No, good. Yes.
It's quite kind of funny, but...
Oh, it's still ring?
Yeah, it's still ringing.
Oh,
No one's picking up.
speaking of.
Which is interesting, because that's why I also chose this person, because I'm pretty certain. Wow.
It's on? Yeah, maybe it's not. Oh, good.
No, it was an answer machine, which is interesting.
You have one other chance, my brother. Can you call
It's
another
the
one?
one person that I thought,
You thought
if
it
there's
could
one
be?
person definitely arrived,
Yes.
it was my mother.
Oh, wonderful. Do you want to try again?
Yeah, because it's now I'm getting worried. Maybe I have to go.
Let's try again. I'm going to try again. Can you tell me the number?
Try the mobile number, maybe, if
Okay.
it's possible. So it's
Okay.
zero.
Wait, are you sure you want to say it on
Zero?
record?
0173.
No, we will blank it. Yeah? Oh, yeah, bitte.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Then you do it. Let's travel a little bit back into the past. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quick.
Okay, let me memorize it quickly.
It also need light.
No, this is all good. No.
Okay. Well, trying to figure out telephone. Yes, it was very. Yeah, we yeah. How we use smartphone and telephone today.
Honestly, it feels so much better without the headphone.
Okay, this is unfortunate. But
Okay,
also a
yes,
little bit
good.
okay.
But we're sending much love to your mother, where she is right now. But it was a good choice. Yes, I really.
It would have been a
that's
good
wonderful.
choice, and it was an interesting choice that I realized, because really this is the person that I can always reach.
Okay.
So I'm a bit concerned now,
Yeah,
but
I
I'll
think
take care of that.
yes
after
later.
our
But we are
conversation.
very sure that your mother she's very well, and after our session here, you're gonna have a conversation with her,
Yes.
and we're sending much love to her.
Yes.
And yes, great. All right, brother. So, well, I think we started already in our conversation, and then the reason even I wanted really to also have a conversation with you here. It yes, I think you may know. We were just talking about the names here, and the question is, what is behind names? What is human identity for you? How do you describe it? Because I remember when I asked you, when were you born? And I remember even the date you were born. I was like, wait a minute, my brother, because you're so young and all that, you look so young. But my brother Dodo, he is from 1966. Can you believe that? And but he said, I can't remember when I was born. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, because I don't know. They just told me.
I don't remember.
I love that. And that's isn't it true? So that's really enlightened me also about, yes, pause. That is very true. Because in that time, you don't really remember. Later, they told you that's your name. That's what they called you, which means what is behind the name we've been given and the identity that we in our society accept as it is, that represent us.
Yeah, what's behind it? I mean, of course, what is behind it is that those who give us our names, they have a certain connection with that name, and perhaps to some extent even the way they see us at the moment. When they choose a name, they think, oh, that could fit, or this could fit. But usually it's something to do with them, with their identity of us. While what were you saying? The other
my question is, what is really behind? What is behind the I am, Trésor Ilunga Mukuna? Before even you say I am, there's something behind, right?
Before I say I am,
yes.
What is behind there?
What's your name? My name is.
It's a very beautiful question, really. What is behind the I am? Because actually, you were saying like before even the name.
Yeah.
Before even the I am is what you said.
Yes.
And I thought, no, I have to disagree, because grammatically already before the name comes the I am. And that's a very important point, in at least to my understanding of who am I, or what name am I being given, because it starts with I am, and then we attach another thing.
Yes.
While in my concept of who I am,
yes, who are you,
right
brother?
there. I am. So
I am?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. I am that I am.
Yes.
And that is actually already written in the Bible.
Yes.
Because
I am that I am.
That's what God refers to himself when he's being asked, or when someone asks, oh, what's the name of God? Tell me the name of God. Tell me your name. Somebody talks to him. He said, I am that I am.
Yes.
And of course, this is, to understand this, I think it's so fundamental about life and about the many mistakes we make associating ourselves with a name, with a cultural,
Yes. We've been
anything
given.
outside,
Yeah.
we attach it afterwards, after the I am.
Mm-hmm.
But when we want to come to find who we really are,
Yes.
I think we have to stop, or we naturally will stop after the M.
Yes. I am I. Oh,
I am.
I am. And because this is a very famous saying. Have you heard that? Have you heard that before? I am. I am. So it's a Bible.
Yes, it's a Bible quote.
Quote.
That's being, or it's a Bible. It's a sentence in the Bible that is often recited, and it's a very profound.
Yes. By that, say what that even means. Like, I am.
That I am.
That I am.
Well, it means that you are. And you don't have to attach a thing to it. As you attach anything to it, you will exclude something from it. And as you exclude something from it, we are already in the realm of human beings and of this world of separation, of duality, and that's, everything that is really, it's an aspect of you. You can attach your name, you can say this and that. All these things are aspects of you. But you are nothing, no thing.
I am nobody.
Nobody.
Because I am nobody, I am.
Detach the word no body.
Body.
Well, you have a body, but you are not identified by that body. Because if you have a different body, you have a name, but you're not identified with that name unless you identify yourself with this name. Of course, there's personal identity. I can say whoever I want to be, I'm a horse, People might or might not believe me, but it's just an aspect.
But this can get us a little bit complex about the world we live now, with gender and things, which is like, well, one could also say that I am a flower, or I am a male, I am a female.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, okay. So the thing is, everybody, you can say whatever you want, and that is to be respected. That's the thing. This is your identity. So if someone gives you a piece of identity, you are free to choose whether you want to associate that to yourself or to say, no, that is not me.
Yeah, but by saying that, when we were talking earlier about even your name, and there's a very interesting, there's a power also behind your name, because Nkishi, like
if you apply that power, then you see that power. If I never applied it,
so that's where my question comes. So do you carry the name of Kishi as really also the vibration of that meaning? It is also for you in your...
It has a power for me, but I would not go as far as to say it necessarily has to have the same power that it has for other people. But it has a power for me, and at the same time, it is a constriction. I'm very aware that my name carries a power and a constriction.
Good.
We are in the duality domain. We're in the domain of duality when we fix on material things. Then you will always have more than one side to everything.
Interesting.
So it's not, and again, it's like your personal, maybe someone's personal, not you, personally, but it's someone's personal endeavor to leave out whatever they don't like about the association of something or the side or polarity or whatever.
Indeed, yeah.
However, it is there. And if it's not seen by yourself, it might be seen by someone else. So maybe my name has a certain power that I don't like to associate with, or I choose not to associate with, but then I'm in this world, so other people will associate it with me. And that goes for whether I'm a male or female, the way I look. It goes for the skin color I have. It goes for the house I live in. It goes for the money I have. It goes for anything in this world that I can say, I identify with that part of it,
Mhm.
but I don't identify with that part of the other part of it. And still there will be the environment around me that might identify it and put it back onto me.
Mm.
And I have to deal with that from my point of view. No, I have to
Mm.
then correspond to that in a way, or correspond
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Interesting. Yes, I remember. Yes, one of our conversation also maybe we had before, and for you, you were born here in Germany, right?
So they say.
Uh,
I
yeah.
believe it. No, don't think I'm thinking of
Well,
what
okay,
it-
but that's it's gonna take us a very interesting. Uh, uh, I know that the reason you say that because you say, okay, I was born. Of course, I have my parents. I didn't know anything. They give me the name and they tell me that I was born this date because I don't know. Because when I ask my brother, you were born in this year, I say yes. This is what I was told, and I realized yes, of course, that's what he was told. It's not like
It's not like I would, I can say now, okay, I'm wearing a yellow trousers
yes,
because I remember I can see it here right now, But
yes,
if you ask me what date I was born, what time of the day I was born, I can say I believe those who told me when
yeah.
that was,
Mm-hmm.
but I can also honestly say, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But also,
Which
when you're born, you don't even have a concept of time or date
mm-hmm.
or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
And
you can't tell or remember anything of that.
no.
Yeah, interesting. And yes, that's also another question which I had already maybe discussion also with you. Um, uh, do you feel? I mean, because you have a mixed parent, right? One parent coming from Africa in the Congo, one parent here in Germany. Where do you feel home? Where do you feel like, yeah, like this is my home? Germany, Düsseldorf, where you were born?
No, I don't actually have that sense of home, neither for Congo, Africa, or Germany. I don't have a sense of feeling at home in that way. I feel at home in my home.
On yourself home, yes.
In my, in
Wherever
myself.
you are at home.
I try to feel at home. I don't always feel at home within myself.
Okay.
Can you define
That's fair.
home? What is home for you?
Well, this is the thing. It's like for me, yeah, it's a good question because it's a word, and it goes as far as this in my brain, in my thinking. You give me a word, and now I'm in this inner dialogue as to, okay, do I accept the word as what it generally is supposed to mean, or do I question it? And and say, well, what does it mean? It's the same thing with the meaning of a name. Do I accept the running or whatever the majority of people may say that's what it is?
But it's a word, and a word has a value. When in case of a name, I think you personally give a value to a name, to a word. This is your
That's
word,
right.
and this
it
word
may be-
defines you.
Exactly. So when I say what home, I think home is the place, is a space of safety. I think it's a space of safety. It's very beautiful, this question, because I haven't really ever thought about it, what it
But
means to me.
By that definition, do you feel unsafe outside of that space?
Well, no, I may not feel unsafe outside of it, but I would not necessarily call another space home just because it's safe, because I'm just trying to think about it now. And safety is one aspect of it that I would first of all think of. Okay, home is a place of safety. It's a place of growth, but growth in a sense of growing naturally and in my stride, in my pace. Yeah, it's not to be pushed or pressured to grow or learn something, but to feel at ease with the process of life. So that space is a home where I feel at ease with the space. I feel safe. I feel I can express myself. Self-expression is home for me. So wherever I have this feeling that I can be myself,
Yes.
yeah, that could be kind of home, I would think.
Interesting.
I could also add to that, like for me personally, also a home is a place where you can rest.
Yeah, and rest you can only when you feel safe.
Yes, it's also true.
Yeah,
Safe
you don't
and
rest when you're
comfortable.
not really safe.
Yes.
Interesting. Your answer took me a little bit, on interesting direction of just to observe. Imagine, I'm in this space. There's no light, there's no subject and anything. It's just me with my consciousness.
Beautiful.
Like it's dark.
That's what I would have said first of all. My
I
home is
feel that
consciousness.
is, yes, home for me. Like, it's like, and then of course in that space you need to feel tranquil, and of course there's a thought that may come, but I visualize also that way,
Yeah, totally with you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing, as I say, this is what I actually thought first of all. I just didn't know how to package it in words. So I thought, okay, how am I going to reply to the question, what is my home? But home is really consciousness.
Yes.
It's now.
Yeah.
This is your home.
Yes. The present moment that you are away and present and feel tranquil. Yeah, that's home. So it can be anywhere. You can be here. But yes, that's very true. It's an important awareness to have.
And the thing is, it cannot be anywhere, even if you say, well, you can put it, because consciousness, it can only be here, anywhere where consciousness is in the present. And
yes,
in our
it's aware. Yes,
the
awareness. When the awareness arises, that's where home.
Yeah, we have to be now and be aware of now, and then we are home.
Yes, well said. Great. All right. Well, ooh.
Thank you.
No, we're still around here. That's very, very, very interesting as a perspective of home. But you mentioned also something like, you don't feel well. Now we go a little bit because it require an awareness. It require a high awareness to realize the present moment, to have that consciousness that you're home. On our daily life and daily, like many human beings are living at this moment. Yes, of course. I mean, what I'm curious about it is when I ask where do you feel home? It's also about, the environment, the community, the systems, things like that, because
if it's something more material you're looking for in terms of an answer, I would have to say making music. So it's like whether I'm surrounded by instruments or musicians, and in that environment.
Oh, my brother. Oh, yes. By the way, I remember this. Ooh, my brother. But yeah, well, you are multi-instrumental player, right? You are more percussion, but I saw you also playing guitar. But what's your kind of favorite instrument? What's the instrument that you tour with it or you play most of the time?
It varies because it can be different. Like there are times when I really love playing guitar. There are times when I really love playing percussion, drums. Times when I really just love singing and using my voice.
Yes.
And whatever else. I mean, I'm not an established keyboard player or pianist, for example, but if I get a keyboard and I get the time to sit there,
true.
I'm at home.
It's a wonderful feeling.
It's not about whatever I can perform or play, but it's more about doing this
True.
The actual interaction with an instrument. I love it.
Yeah, the process for creating.
Yeah, and the vibration you create and the harmony and everything. It's like it's this language of this, and it doesn't even mean that I have to communicate anything to anybody else outside of me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's a rapport with myself.
Yes. That's very interesting.
And it doesn't, it could be just, and I can do this for hours. I actually, in fact, I do it almost every day, every night, watching TV. When I watch, and I'm only halfway there, and it's just like in the background, kind of going on, and while I'm doing this, and I'm much more focused on what I'm doing. Okay, I'm learning something new.
Well, I think you what you just say also, it's what also maybe we have discussed last time in our on our first podcast in terms of the art as a way of living. So you at home just being and doing your music, and just it's not separated for you, like it's maybe the art, and of course it will become when you may be performing, doing that, but it's something you every day, like you say, your home, it's music. So it also kind of saying the same, like it's a way of living,
Absolutely. I mean, actually, it happens to me now. I'm just realizing as well that it happens on my way here. I'm in my head, or even sort of to myself quietly. I sing, I do beatboxing or whatever. And to the point that I will pick up noises and interpret them as music in a way. So, and then it will inspire me to think of something or connect with it, do something along with it. It's all music. It's all music.
All right. Cool.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, brother.
I think it's important to know that, well, at least from my perspective, music is also a tool in the same way a language is. You use the music in the same way as you use language. Because when you speak, you don't really think a lot about the grammar or how you speak. You just speak and you share your thoughts. And it's exactly the same way when you play on musical instrument. You don't think about specific chords or modes or scales you're playing in, but you just play as it goes and try to tap into the things that you like.
There is that way, that approach. There is also the approach and also perhaps a limitation, because until you get a vocabulary, and that's the same.
Oh, yes, that's
you actually focus on each of
but
those.
As things. I said, it's exactly the same way as in a language.
Absolutely, it's very the same thing. It's exactly that. It's a language.
Yes.
Yeah, music is a language. Yeah. But when it comes, when you hold the guitar or you want to start singing, does it comes already into perspective of a language to you, or it's forming a language as it's being played or it's being created?
No, it's neither. I think in a way it's because language is now he's just sort of identified or defined it in a way, or compared the two.
It's more a comparison.
But it's not that. It's neither that it becomes a language as you. If anything, it becomes a language the moment you want to address someone else with the music. So the moment that I'm playing for someone, I'm actually relatively conscious that I'm using music as a language tool to communicate something to someone else. However, making music, performing it anytime, anywhere, anywhere, the question of language doesn't come in at all. It's not a matter of language, and it's not a matter of communication. It's actually, if anything, afterwards that I am aware of the effect it had on me. And then I feel that, yes, something's been given me. Now, what does that mean? Because that is not really immediately seen as that's language, what language does. But language does exactly that. It's like I'm giving you words now.
Yes.
I'm giving you a meaning with my sentences that I'm speaking. I'm giving some value or evaluation of something. And that's what music does as well, in the same way.
Yeah, because I think it's all both it require a creator and receiver, well, who's creating or transcend the music, and those who also receiving it.
And it
That's
might
why it become a language, isn't it? Like
Well-
communications, or
Well, and in the
Or
same
could
way
be-
as we talk a lot to ourselves,
True.
Yes.
it goes on constantly in the
Mhm.
brain that we talk. Music can go on the same way, and it
Yeah.
does for me.
Yeah. No. Ah, interesting. Now talking about music. Now I'm a bit curious about how did you start adventuring into music? Since when that you start? Because I read some way that you start doing music, even you can't really remember since you start maybe creating and doing music.
Yeah, honestly, I cannot remember because music's been in my house since I was born. So
Mhm.
my father's been a musician. At least that's what he did a lot during the time of my earliest childhood.
Mhm.
He's done many other things as well, but that was what he was engaging in a lot. And so there were musicians and around me. They would rehearse around me.
Yeah.
And so there were instruments, and naturally, as a kid, you go.
Yes, play around.
Yeah, and it fascinated me evidently from the beginning. So I really can't remember when I started playing music. I can remember that there was a moment when I became aware that that is what I'm doing, and I became aware of how much I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was who also kind of because you were born in Düsseldorf.
Düsseldorf.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's the mother, father who influences you into
Oh, my
music.
father.
You said the father.
My father,
Okay.
yes. My mother, she would say of herself, she's the most unmusical person you can imagine, which she isn't really. But
Mhm.
this is again, concepts and how we kind of narrate things or being narrated about
Yes,
us.
yeah.
But yeah.
So since when you start like you felt really like, okay, I think I've chosen music and I'm going to adventure it. And which side did you choose? Sing or instrument, to play instrument, or which one was it?
It was words. For me, it was important actually when I became aware that the importance it had in for me. It wasn't even really playing an instrument that I wanted to do. I was writing lyrics.
Oh,
I was
lyrics, writing lyrics.
songs, texts, poetry, whatever, and putting them to rhythm and whatnot. So yeah, that was it. It was actually using language in a musical way. That was what I was most keen on to begin with. Yes. And then I realized, okay, I need to accompany myself or my voice with something. And then I learned this thing, the guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. And very quickly, though, also very, very quickly, there was this fascination for percussion or for drumming. And so a lot of times I would sit on the sofa at home, put together some pillows and get some coat hangers and just bang, to the point where my dad would say, look, you can't just play, wildly like this. And because he was a musician and he they had their kind of preference of certain musics, he made me listen more consciously. He said, listen to what the drums are doing there.
What kind of music that I'm curious he kind of gets you to listen?
It was a kind of 60s, all the 60s soul music, Percy Sledge, Otis Redding, James Brown, and it was, of course, Congolese music a lot as well.
The Franco Luambo.
Yes, all these people. And so he would tell me all these names, and he would get me to. He wanted me to be serious about it very early on. He wanted he was no nonsense. No, you do it, and you do it properly. So it was a teaching, But I didn't mind that. I was curious. I wanted to, pick that up. So to the point that when I was about 10, 11, actually earlier, I was 8 or 9, I was bugging my parents that I wanted to go to, it was at the time when I was in primary school, and then there was this moment when you had to decide, okay, what do you do next after primary school? And I wanted to go to music school.
Ooh.
So that was clear for me. But at the time, there wasn't a music school of the sort that, like a modern music school. There was classical music, but I wasn't interested in this.
Yeah.
In Düsseldorf, the nearest one was in Cologne.
Oh yeah.
But because I was 9, 10 years, 10, 11, 10 years old when I left
Yeah.
primary school,
Hmm.
it was a big issue for my parents to decide whether or not to let me, because they couldn't accompany me to go to Cologne every morning
Hmm.
to go to school. So for them, but I don't know how even it happened that they even took me halfway serious. But it came to because now thinking about it, I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, would they really have let me when they
Yes.
didn't in the
How
end?
old were you?
10, 11.
Oh,
Like when
10,
I left,
11. Wow.
you must imagine, like, you leave primary school and then it's like, okay, do you go to gymnasium? Do you go to,
Yes.
at the time, they had this thing called Hauptschule,
Hauptschule.
or which meant basically you take a few years to prepare yourself to go to work, to find a job.
Oh,
somewhere,
yes.
no?
More
To become
practical.
more practical,
Hands-on.
so you could choose, and in this way. But for me, it was like, I want to go to music school.
Yeah.
And I was so adamant and so stubborn, I guess, about it, that they took me serious to the point that they took me to this school in Cologne
Hmm.
to test, because you had to pass a test
Yes. Yeah.
to
So the
be
music
able
place.
to
Yeah.
be eligible to get to this school. And I didn't have any classical training or
Hmm.
formal training
Yeah.
until this time. But anyway, the teachers, they thought, yeah, no, he's talented. We can,
You can have.
yeah.
Ah.
So they were agreeing with it. And then was the next step that now my mother had to think about how I'm going to get you there every morning.
Hmm.
And that was the hurdle where it stopped. Basically, it became
Ah.
too big a thing.
Yes. Complicated to
yeah.
manage that.
Yeah. So yeah, so the situation was,
Yeah.
I was not going to go to music school. I went instead to high school,
Yes.
and you know, I remember like the first 2 years maximum.
Yeah.
I was still interested and curious, and I kind of gave it what I had, to be happy and to be a good pupil.
Yeah.
But after the second year, also there were complications actually in my case, because from primary school, the head teacher at that time, she was very right wing,
Hmm.
very fascist, and she basically decided that I was too stupid to go to a gymnasium, to the higher school.
Wow.
So with that, that opportunity was not given me.
It always hurt me. I didn't interrupt you. Yes, I always heard, yeah, when I moved also in Germany here, and I could always hear about gymnasium and the other one,
Hauptschule
Hauptschule.
oder Mittelschule.
Yeah,
It changed over the
those
years.
separation there, I always wonder why it was very. I see the advantage of it. Someone just go and be more practical and can already start working, and others they have to go and then go maybe university and all that. But the idea of I don't know how they do really check that, like, okay, yeah, you are not really intelligent enough to go there, or you are not. I think there's a lot of mistakes that's also happening.
Yeah, in fact, they stopped it. It doesn't exist anymore. This
Yeah.
Now then they got into Gesamtschule.
Zusammen.
Yes,
So
where all
so
the
together.
pupils had to go in the
Wonderful.
same school, and then some of them might leave earlier, and the others.
Yes.
It all has advantages and disadvantages, and from a what's it called, pedagogic point of view, it's not so easy, to melt the whole thing, because there were literally kids that just wanted to go and do what their parents might have done and carry on that job, and they were not interested in studying, and so that's how they also behaved in a school if they would be pushed to go to become more and more studious, and
yes, true,
it wasn't for them. At the same time, it's also difficult for those who are really thriving in the studies and all these subjects, and who know that what they want is they want to study this thing or that thing, become a doctor, or a mathematician or whatnot, and then they're not kind of encouraged enough, because the system is such that they have to kind of comply with all of this broad range of humans. So yeah, it is difficult. I can understand it. I totally agree with you that the totally wrong thing is to actually assess intelligence
Mhm.
on the basis of
Mhm.
the school
Yes,
result.
it
no?
is very. Oh,
Yeah, but
no.
I mean, we're talking also, 70s.
Well, but don't forget, most geniuses, they have been told also a little bit. They were a little, not really advanced. And then later we realize what,
No, in fact,
yes, it's
that's why I
always
was
like
saying,
that.
that's why I
Yeah,
was saying that the time in which
we were
those
living in that
kind of
time.
pedagogues were still deciding and saying, oh, you're not intelligent enough for that type of school, or the way they assessed it was based on some kind of understanding and science that they put at the fundament of it, that
Mhm.
was not as mature as it is now. So
True,
now
true.
you will find a lot of different aspects being
Yeah,
taken into
it evolved, huh?
account.
Yeah.
While at that time it was pretty much like, oh, you're a black kid, you can't be intelligent, to
Mm.
put it really bluntly.
Interesting.
You
Also,
know?
I think by you arriving at that point, I won't hesitate to ask you this question: how was it for you to have two parents, one from here in Germany, one from the Congo, and how was it for you in that time to grow up here in Germany
It was interesting,
as a, well, let's say as a black
yeah.
kid?
Yeah, it was interesting. Now, I mean, I'm trying to feel my way back into that
Yes.
time, no, and not to give you an answer that is like my retrospect of it, because retrospectively
Mm-hmm.
speaking, I would think like, oh, it was terrible, oh, it was tragic, oh, it
Yes.
was. But actually, at the time,
Mm-hmm.
I felt very strong. I felt very capable of handling the situation. I knew it was unfair. I knew how I was being discriminated
Mm-hmm.
on
So
a
you were
day.
aware of the reality.
Oh, very aware, of course, very aware. I was very skeptical towards making friendships
Mm-hmm.
with. You have to also imagine at the time in Düsseldorf, it was very apparent to me and my brother
Mm-hmm.
that we were the only dark kids
Mm-hmm.
in our whole environment and in our immediate childhood
Yeah.
environment. In school, we were the only two
Wow.
until 4 years into the school, and then suddenly there was these two other black kids that
Mm-hmm.
came, and they moved from somewhere. Yes, and it was exactly like this.
Welcome.
And we connected.
Oh,
like
wonderful.
this, of course.
Yes.
But that's how it is. No?
Yeah.
Minority, and then you kind of feel akin, and
Yeah.
and yes.
Oh, interesting. Which time are we talking about? Maybe, I mean, 70s, yes, mid 70s,
early 80s. Just
A quick question: Düsseldorf, was it West or East Germany?
West Germany.
West Germany.
Okay.
And yeah, West Germany.
Okay.
You mean at the time of we had DDR, so
Yeah.
it was west side of Germany.
Oh yeah, very much so.
So we can say that that side was more open than other side in that time, or it was still.
I wouldn't say more open, and also it depends in which context you mean more open, because there were definite aspects that I would say now where the East Germany was more open than the West.
That's very interesting.
I mean, also consider the fact that my father came to the DDR when he came to Europe.
First. So he arrived first here in DDR.
And that was only because there was a pact made, a governmental pact made between the government of Zaïre and
the German government
and the left wing.
Zaïre also deal. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because that's why we have the Portuguese and the
yes.
the system.
Yes, I think the Vietnamese also, they did come. Yeah, I made a documentary also about that. Nak Hal, about the Vietnamese who come here also. Yeah, that was the east side. Yes, that's a very interesting point. The east side of Germany, most of the time people always see it like, oh, that was a little bit, the west side was more open and all that. But there's many interesting things that's been happening from the east side. Absolutely. And I find it really fascinating.
Very intelligent and well thought out things that were for the community.
Yes. That's also, I think the east side, it's more about community. It's about yes, of course, if they have maybe, like we also notice here in the east side, they're like there's a parks or school, but there's a lot of exchange with the community then of course the West is also more people have their own things, I have this whole for my own and all that. But yeah, with my time here, of course, also observing East Side and looking also the history during my research of my documentary about the Vietnamese who come here to work. And yes, but there was also Portuguese, yes, but I didn't know about the Congo. Very interesting. So the Congo as well. So which also now I understand why you mean like I don't know which side. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't pigeonhole it into which one is more open.
Yes,
one
true.
closed, because there are aspects
yeah,
in terms of that, and it's true. I mean, it's funny, the history of Düsseldorf as well, in terms of this whole kind of Nazi right-wing nationalist kind of thing. And then actually the East German side has been attached that label of all the kind of right-wing people that kind of settle here. But actually during the time of Hitler there are some horrifying
things that happen, yes,
and
but
they
at the same time
in North Rhine-Westphalia, which is Düsseldorf, that region of Germany was kind of like the center, the core of it.
Yes, that's very true. Because even when I was in Congo, when you hear people go maybe to Germany, Düsseldorf, it always come. Düsseldorf, it's similar to, so it's a very also you mix place. Yeah.
What can you tell about Düsseldorf now today? Is it different from the time?
To my eyes, it has changed in as much as there are so many different cultures now. They're young and they established their businesses, and it's so different, the picture now of the city to me when I go there to when I was a kid. That's why I was saying before, it's like it was so evident to me that there's my brother and there's me, and that's it. My father sometimes comes to visit us, and then we see a third black person, and then we have to, and then you think of gaining an identity, an African identity, because you can't, I mean, in my case at least, I couldn't gain a German identity because at every corner I was being reminded that I don't belong there.